you here?
This is it. Don't get scared.
Welcome to a brand new Flick Pick live show, late night edition. This is it. Don't get scared now. I hope you have your popcorn ready and you're not sleepy because hopefully we can talk about movies and life for the next hour, maybe two, maybe three. I don't know. I'm not feeling tired, but what I am feeling is frisky. And also, to accompany me tonight is a delicious Dr. Pepper. I must have drank myself about 15 Dr. Peppers. So how are you guys doing? Welcome back to a brand new live show. It's been just over a week. It was a very hectic week at my normal day job, which is just slowly but surely draining the life out of me. Don't ask which orifice that's coming from, but it's draining me and withering me away. But either way, we're not talking about that. We're going somewhere fun, exciting. And where is that? Well, I'm sitting in my office wearing a Batman hat, and I'm not wearing any pants either. But thank you guys for joining me once again, and let's just dive into the questions. The first one comes from Great White Buffalo, who asks, "Hey, what's up, Johnny boy? I hope everything is going good. I just recently went through a breakup. I've been through a couple of those. With my girlfriend, and my question is, do you have any advice on how to deal with it? Because I just feel lost right now." You know, my best advice to you is, you gotta move on, man. You can't force anyone to like you or love you. And as soon as you start forcing that, it's over. So the best thing for you is just be grateful it happened. It's like a Band-Aid. You just rip it off, you look at it, you hope it doesn't get infected, and then what you do is you rub baby oil all over yourself, you hit the gym, you listen to 1980s rock ballads, and you just go on with life. Because I assure you, when you look back in 10 years, it's going to be for the best. You're going to be like, oh man, I dodged a bullet with that shit. So take comfort in that, and life will go on for the better. Or at least you hope for the better. Or else you blew it. It'll be okay. All right. The next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, "If you had to watch Terminator Dark Fate and give it a good review to end world hunger, could you do it?" Well, you know, the thing about hunger, and you didn't say being dehydrated. You can only live a couple days without water. But without food, you can live weeks. I don't know. I'm iffy on it. I don't know. You know, world hunger, I guess, is a concern. But I don't know. That's a lot to ask of someone. I mean, think about it. If Arnold installed drapery in that movie. That's what the T-800 was doing in his later years. He installed drapery. That's what he said. And for that fact alone, no, I cannot. I'm sorry if you're starving to death, but that's a small price to pay for me to sell out and say Terminator Dark Fate is a good movie. There. That's my answer. Okay? Call me a monster if you want. But you know what would make me a true monster? Saying a shitty movie's good. All right, the next one comes from Chad Hagen. "Hey John, pop quiz hotshot. You have been named the next director of a Marvel movie. What do you do?" Well, first I ask, first I ask, which movie is it? And they go, oh, it's the new Marvels movie. And then I just walk to the top of a 57-story building, and then I jump off. Yes, absolutely I would. I wouldn't care I don't care if it was an episode of She-Hulk. I direct the shit out of that. Okay? I will do whatever the script says if the price is right. Oh, you want her to twerk? Done. What else? Absolutely I would. Do I hope it's a good Marvel movie? Yeah, that would be beneficial, but couldn't say no to that opportunity. Okay, the next one comes from Mike's Movie Talk. Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter? Listen, that's not really even debatable, but what I will do is drag out my answer to such a question. So I had just recently, my fiance, it sounds so pretentious. Fiance, what am I, French? Anyway, the chick I'm getting married to, um, she's a Harry Potter fanatic. She knows more about Harry Potter than I think anyone on this planet, including J.K. Rowling's, who wrote the damn books. Is that who wrote the books? That sounds right. Either way, don't correct me if I'm wrong. And I thought the Harry Potter movies were good, but I will say, I feel like they're missing key supporting sequences and scenes to justify some of the decisions that happen. And I understand that these things exist in the books, but some of these things do not exist in the movies. And when I was watching it, just from a third-party perspective who've never read the books, just as a movie, some of the narrative I felt was a little clunky at times. You know, if you're not a hardcore fan of the books, there's just things in those movies that don't quite feel like they're justified or explained. But with all that said, I'm Lord of the Rings by far. I'm more of a Lord of the Rings guy than I am a Harry Potter guy. But hey, I can respect the Potter. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's not right for me. All right, the next one comes from... Oh, God, you guys are killing it with the questions. And by the way, it's been a while since we've done a late night live show, and that's just because I have a normal day job now, so I do get tired by midnight. I know, it's a weird thing to say. That's a sentence I never thought I would say. I truly am becoming an old man, but look at me. So, yeah, it's nice to do a live show, and oddly enough, I get more interaction and more views at midnight than I would at 9 o'clock doing one of these. So what does that say about all of you? Huh? You insomniacs? No, you're not insomniacs. You're vigilantes of the night, and thank you for joining me. Okay. The next question comes from Ryan Potter. Speak of the devil. All right. If you lived forever, what things would you never get sick of doing? Oh, gosh. Ripping and a tearing. I don't know, man. You know, I don't think I would ever get tired of watching movies and sitting in a hot tub. I don't think I would ever get tired of those two things. I really don't. I like the simple things in life. I really do. And those have never worn thin with me. So yeah, I think just watching movies and being comfortable, you know, relaxing. I don't think I would ever get tired of those things. Yeah. But what I am getting tired of more so in my old age is just social interactions. It doesn't matter if I'm going somewhere that I would deem as typically a fun event. I still find it to be an obligation to some degree. It's like I could go do the funnest, most enjoyable thing I could ever imagine. And after like an hour or two, I think to myself, I need to get home and lay in my bed on my heating pad watching reruns of Game of Thrones. That's just where I'm at in life. I cannot be bothered to do anything that isn't comfortable. Like, I need to get home and lay in my bed at some point. So, it's one of the, you know, the weird thing in life as I ramble on about nothing that anyone cares to hear about. But let me just get this out because I use this as cheap therapy. When you're young, you can sleep on a concrete floor at your best friend's house, eating Cheeto crumbs and drinking flat Mountain Dew. But the older I get, if I'm not in my queen bed with a pillow top on it and a heating pad and all my creature comforts, I just can't be bothered anymore. I can't do it. So anyway, let's go to the next question. All right, the next one comes from Greg Harris, who says American Nightmare on Netflix is a great documentary. I've actually heard some good things about that. A few live shows ago, I did give a recommendation for a new Netflix movie, which I rarely ever recommend a Netflix movie, though I think it is a South American movie that Netflix obtained the rights to So maybe it's technically not a Netflix movie. I'm not sure. But if you have not watched Society of the Snow, which is sort of a remake of the 1993 movie Alive, highly recommend it. I'm a huge fan, a sucker for survival movies, especially good survival flicks. So it's good stuff. Some of the dubbing is a little bit in the beginning of it, but once you get past the audio dubbing, it's a phenomenal film. Highly recommend it. It's 2.5 hours long. And there is some graphic stuff, so I would not recommend eating like a bologna sandwich or something when you're watching it, or beef jerky, or any meat food related items whatsoever when you're watching the movie. But other than that, damn good movie. Let's go to the next one here, who's Kevy Rez says, IGN gave a 6 on the latest season to one of my favorite anime, while they gave She-Hulk, The Marvels, an Echo, an 8. Can't take that site serious. Well, no shit. When you start pooping on Disney, and they give you all these nice press invites and all these fringe benefits, and you don't placate to them, there's repercussions to those actions. They will dismiss you immediately. I've never taken IGN ratings seriously. Has anyone? Some of them are questionable at best, and some of them just seem like an insane guy that should be in a straitjacket and a padded cell, gave the ratings. Clearly there's money at play here. You know, they have advertisers to, suckle at the teat to. So if you piss off your advertisers, they're not going to come back and give you money. So I think that's played a hand or two in some of their ratings over the years. Just saying. Maybe it's a theory, maybe it's a fact, but just putting it out there. The next one comes from Michael Witherspoon, who has been a glorious member for 24 fucking great months. And I appreciate that, and thank you. And thank you to all my members. And if you guys are in here tonight, say hello in the chat. Let's read some of your magical, mystical questions over here. But anyway, let's go up to Mike's question here, who says, John, I hope all is well. Do you listen to Kanye? There's been a few songs I've liked to Kanye. I liked his, I couldn't really name them, but in the movie Never Back Down from 2008, was that 2008? I liked that song. Whatever that, I don't remember how it goes, but I liked it. So occasionally I like a little bit of Kanye. The guy's absolutely bonkers and kooky and crazy as shit, but I kind of like it. The next one comes from Jason Nelson, who says, hello, John. What did you think of The Beekeeper? Well, I didn't think much of the movie because I haven't seen the movie, but I could have predicted exactly what this movie is before seeing it. I bet it's a very generic, run-of-the-mill action movie that should have just been crapped out on VOD. It kind of looks like the poor man's Kmart version of a John Wick movie. And I'm assuming, even though it's called The Beekeeper, unfortunately, never once in the film does Jason Statham use bees to kill people, which I think would be really cool. Did I get at least some of that right? I'll probably never watch it. Truth be told, the majority of the last 15 Jason Statham movies have all sort of just been interchangeable. You know, you have like Liam Neeson movies, and basically it's the same movie duplicated over and over again, where he has a new occupation or has some kind of new verb or something. You know, as the title, taken, gone, almost there. Whatever. So, no, I have not seen Beekeeper. I'll probably never waste my time watching it, just to be honest with you. So those are my thoughts on Beekeeper. I don't know. It just, why is that just not a Netflix movie? Laundry says, John, which movie would you rather watch 10 times straight? G.I. Joe, Rise of the Cobra, or The Marvels? To be completely honest with you, I would probably rewatch G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra over and over again before I ever watch The Marvels. Matter of fact, I would much rather you guys boil G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra up, put it into a syringe, and I will inject it into my veins before I rewatch the Marvels. And I'll tell you why. G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra is a terrible movie. It's terrible. For some odd reason, I still own it on Blu-ray back there because I just remember how bad it was. But at the same token, it sort of has like this guilty pleasure vibe to it where you can laugh at it and the visuals kind of look fun and they have like gadgets and there's a few okay action scenes. And the first movie had Channing Tatum in it, you know. It's terrible. But it's mildly entertaining if you consume drugs or alcohol. But the Marvels, it's none of those things. And drugs or alcohol does not enhance the experience whatsoever. So I'd go with G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. And I hope that was a fulfilling answer to your question. Skylar Wheelock says, so Laurie Strode had 40 years to fill the house full of traps, and Kevin McAllister had 40 minutes. One barely survived, and the other took down two fully grown men in time for his parents coming home for Christmas. Not only did Kevin McAllister go to church, come home, make battle plans, set up all the booby traps, which would take me 17 weeks to put together and orchestrate. And with all that said, I'd probably have to hire 2 engineers to help me with these elaborate booby traps. But beyond all of that, after he took out the wet bandits, hear me out, he went fucking home, cleaned up the house, he Swiffered the floors, put everything back together for his family to come home Christmas morning. How did he have time for this? Like his one escape getaway where the rope is going outside of the attic window to the treehouse where it has the little bicycle handle attached to it. That would take me, I'm not kidding, probably 7 hours to set up. And not only that, I'd have to test it. And not only that, I would not trust my grip strength. And keep in mind, I have phenomenal grip strength. I would not trust myself holding onto bicycle handles 25 feet in the sky, flying down a rope. There's no way, man. Just no way. What was the question again? I completely forgot. Yes, anyway. Yeah, Laurie Strode. Not only did Laurie Strode have a... Laurie Strode. Not only did Laurie Strode have a terrible plan to take out Michael Myers, her end game there was to lock him in the basement and light him on fire. Hey, buy a fucking machine gun, Laurie. Do anything else. If your plan's to lock him with one little latch in your basement, that, keep in mind, also has windows, and just to burn your house down, I don't know. It sounds like insurance fraud to me. But beyond all of that, she had like this caged in front door, if I remember correctly. But her side windows beside her door didn't even have bars over them. She had 40 years to plan and prepare for this. You should have just had Kevin McAllister come over and take care of everything. He could have killed Michael Myers with a paint can of Micro Machines. Okay. The next one comes from Samuel Dixon, who says, Johnny, do you like Reacher on Prime? I think the dude looks the part. I have not watched an episode, but I've heard great things. I did start watching the new season of True Detective starring Jodie Foster and some other people. I love the first season of True Detective, but this new season, it sort of has the Thing vibe going on. It takes place in like the Arctic, and it's very snow and cold and bleak, and I kind of like the setting, don't get me wrong. I don't know if I'm sold on it yet. It's definitely taking a tone I was not expecting from True Detective. It has a little bit of like a supernatural vibe going on, but I'm sure there's a logical scientific explanation by the end of it. I'm just not quite sold on it, though. I love Jodie Foster, and when they announced that she would be one of the basically one of the leading roles as the detective or the chief of police, I was really excited because I think her solving a dark and dubious mystery is right up her alley, especially with movies like Silence of the Lambs. But there's just something about the dynamic with her and the other lady in the show, and it just feels like it feels so disingenuous. It feels like the casting is wrong for what dialogue they're reading off the pages of the script. It feels off to me. It just feels like they're reading lines off a teleprompter somewhere. It just feels so forced. That's my biggest complaint so far. I just, the dialogue does not match the casting. But hey, we're only on the first episode, so maybe the next one, the next second episode will be slightly better. At least I'm hoping it is. Okay, the next one comes from Claudio Rogajon. How's it going, Claudio? All right. Hey, John. I went back and looked at the Bourne movies after we discussed it last week, and I found some interesting info. The actor who played Dash in the third film stated that all the shaky cam was added in post, so there is a version without it. Oh my, that sounds like an instantly better movie. Why would they do that? I mean, I know Paul Greengrass, who loves to just shake a camera. If you give him a camera, he just shakes it. And I thought that was an artistic choice, but that's odd that they digitally added shaky cam. Huh, what a terrible artistic decision that was. Okay, the next one comes from Tanish Q, who says, as a physical media fan, do you watch bonus features and listen to the audio commentaries? Also, your hilariosity reviews with Chris are hilarious. Well, the title just makes sense. Yeah, I watch the bonus features on physical media whenever there's something new to be had. Going back years ago before YouTube and you could just find any bonus feature on YouTube, which made life easy. I used to, that's why I would buy physical media, so I could watch the bonus features. And and even today, sometimes you get good bonus features, but 90% of the time you just get lackluster bullshit. And the other thing that studios do is they release like the bonus clips on YouTube and then don't savor the flavor for the physical copy. So anyone can just watch these now for free. So there's not really much motivation to buy the physical copy, if you're kind of a casual movie lover. So yeah, I always listen to the audio commentaries on movies that I loved or really liked. And sometimes they're great. Other times it's sort of underwhelming. Have you ever noticed this about audio commentaries? Whenever you have the writer or the director of the movie, there's always what you would consider like an awesome scene in the movie, and you can't wait to get there with the audio commentary. And once the movie gets there, it's like they don't even like talk about that scene or how awesome it is or what it took to make. They kind of just skim over it, or they start talking about something that doesn't even relate to this awesome badass scene. And you're thinking to yourself, what are you doing? Talk about the movie. And then they skip over it, and then they talk about some other minute detail and one scene you don't give a shit about. Am I the only one who noticed this phenomenon? I feel like this happens all the time. But some of the best audio commentary is, if you get really bored, listen to Ben Affleck's audio commentary for the movie Armageddon. It's a good time. Okay, Gabe K says, great to see you, John. Well, great to be seen, Gabe. I wish I could see you guys, but unfortunately, I do not have that technology. But then again, what if I could honestly right now click a button and I could instantly connect to all of your webcams and see what you're doing? That just sounds like something nightmares are made out of. Okay, let's go. Let's continue the question. Thoughts on Woody Allen films? I watched A Rainy Day in New York recently, and it was bizarre. I've seen a couple Woody Allen films, but I've never been what I would consider a Woody Allen fan. I like his dialogue. Oh, what's she gonna think about my schmeckle? I like his. Well, I guess he's kind of a bizarre, weird guy with dabbles a fine line with pedophilia. But anyway, I like some of his earlier movies, but I've only seen a couple of them. And Woody Allen has 73 movies? It feels like he was making 5 movies a year. But I've never been a huge Woody Allen fan. I don't know. I've never seen A Rainy Day in New York. Kevin Payne says, hey, John, talk about Lights, Camera, Jackson. What's he doing now? What job did his father get him now? Well, I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. That was my Grace Randolph impression. I guess they're kind of similar, aren't they? What? I had a good Lights, Camera, Jackson impression, and it's been so long I forgot how to do it. Anyway, he was a stupid little kid talking about movies he didn't understand, and his daddy put him on TV. That's Lights, Camera, Jackson. But I hope he's okay. I hope he's doing well in life. Maybe I'll make him a co-host on the next live show. Kevin Payne says, hey, John. We already answered that. Justin K says, hey, John. I've been watching you for years now, and I just wanted to say thanks for all you do for the community. Well, I try, though I do feel like the community on YouTube is like, I don't know if it's dwindling or being phased out. It just doesn't feel as vocal as it once did. But I noticed the same people for the last decade who comment on videos and keep up. So I do appreciate you guys. But that's the sad thing about YouTube nowadays. It feels like that YouTube movie community that you had from like 2010 to like 15, I would say, maybe 2016. Just kind of, it's like dying out a little bit, isn't it? Brings a tear to my eye. But anyway, thank you for that. I know you're not religious, but I hope you pray for your year goes well for you and your fiance. Love you, man. Truly thankful for what you do. Well, thanks for that, Justin K. Much thanks, man. Thank you. Very kind words. You guys are too good to me. Why are you so good to me? All right. Carter Lovejoy, how's it going, Carter, man? It's been snowing like crazy for the last couple of days. What are some good cabin fever movies? All right. That's a great question. Well, you want something a little bit cozy, and you want to feel a little bit reclusive, don't you? All alone, warm, while everything outside's cold and bitter, with only your thoughts to keep you company. So you said you watched Fargo. Well, damn it, that was one on my list here to give you. For the first time, great movie. Love the Coen brothers. Oh, Coen brothers can do no wrong. He's a big fella, aren't ya? Well, I done told you it's not here. I love Fargo. One of my go-to sort of cozy cabin type movies, which in fact takes place in a cabin, is The Hateful Eight. I would recommend watching The Hateful Eight. Which, by the way, hang on. Okay, never mind. Watch The Hateful Eight. I love it. I watch that movie probably at least once a year. It just evens me out. It's cozy. There's phenomenal dialogue. There's violence. There's mayhem. There's drama. What more do you want? So that's my recommendation to you. I always watch that during the winter months. And I do recommend, if you're going to watch Hateful Eight, go watch, if it's still on Netflix, go watch the Netflix cut of it where they separate it into like 3 different chapters, which just makes it way more consumable, and it's the extended cut as well. So that would be my recommendation on how to consume that movie. And thanks for the question, Carter. Alex McCutcheon says, my man, miss seeing you more on here, brother. Much love. Stay safe out there. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm just trying to do the live shows once a week. I think this is the most engaging form of content I can do. I thought to myself, well, could I make a 5-minute jump cut movie review? Yeah, I probably could. But that's not fun. And to me, that's not engaging. And we can't have this back and forth. We can't reciprocate with each other. I feel like, this isn't... If it comes to YouTube and this is the only thing I do, I think I can live with that. Rather than get one 5-minute jump cut video, you're getting 2 hours of unadulterated, uncut content. That's what you're getting here. From a guy at midnight wearing a fucking Batman beanie. Is this what you wanted? Because this is what you're going to get. You're not only going to get entertainment, you're going to get justice. I'll just keep this shit on. I don't care. I don't care. I can read the questions. What's the next one? Let me try really hard to see here. Oh, here it goes. Chad Hagen says, thoughts on Top Gun 3 recently announced. Why not? Okay, let's put that up. I had fuzzies going up my nose and I couldn't see. All right. Hey, listen, I love Top Gun Maverick. I thought it was a superior, much more entertaining film than the first one. And I think it did everything it needed to do to capitalize on nostalgia and also just go for it. It was unapologetic. It was hokey. It was corny. But my God, it was a good time. And it raised my testosterone level by at least 7% by the end of the film. Say what you will about Tom Cruise, but when I was watching him fly that fighter jet to prove to all the rookies how it's done, I was literally, I'm not lying to you, my nipples were hard as rocks, okay? So yeah, I'm excited for Top Gun 3. But the question now is, they're going to have to go on some other crazy, convoluted mission. And what justification is Tom Cruise going to have this time to join them? I don't know. But I can't wait to see it. All right, the next one comes from Jason Nelson, who says, John, next Halloween, can you dress as Arnold with the head wrap he had in Total Recall? You're starting to look more like him, and what a great movie. You want me to wear the little head wrap with, okay, I don't, and then take it off and there's like a thing on top of my head? I don't know about that, man. Can I just be Arnold from can I be the T-800 Arnold? Actually, you know which Arnold I would like to be for Halloween? And I don't know if I could get my hands on it. It might be hard to find a costume, and it might make me feel slightly insecure. But I would love to be Arnold from Running Man, where he wears the full body yellow jumpsuit made out of spandex. I would like to be that version of Arnold. I just know the cops would have to be immediately called on me if I went into public with that. All right. So anyway, thank you for the question. The next one comes from Mike W. Spoon, who says, hey there, John. I saw Iron Claw with my friends a few weeks ago, and man, it's the first movie I've saw in a while that had true emotion and great characters. I got my sister to go see it too, and she loved it. Sadly, most movies don't do that anymore. Yeah, a movie that just sort of takes its time. It's not a comic book movie. It's just an emotional biopic. Please, more of that. And if anything, movies like The Iron Claw might just prove to Hollywood that's the kind of shit people want to see. And the movie didn't cost $125 million. And Zac Efron literally looks like an AI computer created him and 3D printed his body. He does not look like a real person anymore. He looks like an animatronic. And I like it. I'm not even complaining. I think he's almost like, there's a morbid curiosity when I look at Zac Efron now, and I'm not complaining about it whatsoever. He definitely has like a presence to him. You know, it's like, whoa, what the fuck is that? I like it though. So I'm all for it. Yeah, I loved Iron Claw, man. Definitely in my top couple movies of 2023. And by the way, it's 2024. Isn't it? Just doesn't. It's not even. It doesn't. It's not real. It doesn't feel real, does it? Like, does it feel like we're living in 2024? Time's going too fast. My favorite biopic is probably Forrest Gump. That was based on a true story. I'm just kidding. But could you imagine one day when I have kids, I am going to tell them Forrest Gump was a real man and this is the biopic of his life. But if I had to pick my favorite biopic, I liked Wolf of Wall Street. But I'm sure there's a better. I know someone's probably thinking Gandhi or something. But I'd have to think about it. Someone's probably going to say Passion of the Christ or something. But I liked Wolf of Wall Street. I'm sure there's 20 other great ones I'm not thinking of. John, we need more live streams. Well, you're getting one right now, so savor the flavor. All right, the next one comes from Claudia Rojan, who says, I saw The Beekeeper. I'll say this. The movie knows exactly what it is and embraces it. Pure revenge film with great action, and David Ayer confirmed he was trying to make an 80s/90s over-the-top action movie. Also, Jason Statham kills someone with honey. Okay, well, he kills someone with honey. I can live with that at least. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. But don't you wish it maybe push? And keep in mind, I have not seen the movie. I'm going to debate with you for the sake of entertainment here. Don't you wish, though, if he was really trying to give it that 80s nostalgic, over-the-top vibe, that maybe he pushed it even further than he does in the movie? Like, I'm saying go full fucking commando with it. If you're going to make it the over-the-top action movie that has a terrible script, most likely, then push the limits. Did it go that far, or did it try to be somewhat serious? All right, the next one comes from Bruce Cook, who says, Hi, John. Jason Statham is interchangeable with any generic action hero. He's one-dimensional. Hey, what are you talking about? I got bees here. First I punish, then I pollinate. Yeah, you and the little lady are coming with me. Yeah, you're right. He is. Skylar Wheelock says, so Fast 11 will reportedly be a throwback to the first film with a trimmed budget and less. Do you guys like when I talk slower? I'll talk slower and deeper. You want me to do with a trimmed budget and less major locations. So instead of VCRs, they are stealing 4K players this time. Maybe they've upgraded to iPhones or something. Yeah, I don't. After that last abomination, first of all, Fast and Furious jumped the shark like 17 fucking movies ago, and they've only progressively gotten worse to the point where I think the last one I almost had a lobotomy performed, or at least it felt like a lobotomy was being performed on me when I watched the movie. So I turned it off after 17 minutes and went on with my life and missed absolutely nothing. So yes, that is a smart move to go back to something that maybe costs $70 million. It's a car racing movie. You don't need everyone. You don't need a 17-person cast. Keep it simple. But at this point, what are they doing at this point? What could they be doing? What are they ripping off? I don't know. I don't know if I care. But the fact that it is a smaller scaled film does slightly intrigue me. You know what would be really beneficial, and I think a great selling point to this movie to get people back in the theater to see this, besides Vin Diesel now looking like a baked potato, is if they said the film is also small scale and it's done with nothing but 99% practical effects. That would intrigue me. I think that would be kind of cool. But it would still be a Fast and Furious movie. The next one comes from Billy M., who says, ever watched Killer Kids? Would your kids scare you? Killer Kids, I don't know. Maybe I've seen it. Is it some like shitty straight to VHS movie from 1991? That like was a ripoff of Children of the Corn. I don't know. I don't think I have seen it. It doesn't ring a bell. Let me Google it here. See if a visual gives me anything. Killer Kids movie. See what we got here. Oh, this is the black. Are you talking about the black and white version, or was there another version? I thought there was a remake. Children of the Corn. Okay. No, I have not seen it. But then this list brought up The Good Son starring Macaulay Culkin. What a little sociopath. Have you never seen The Good Son? Please go watch it. Just go watch that movie. It's so unsettling. I wish they made movies like that still. Anyway. Let's go to the next question here. Where are we? Silent Night 62. And by the way, guys, I'm about 20 minutes behind on your super chats here. I'm doing my best, but I'm trying to give you informative and answers that have a little bit of substance. So here we go. I'll talk faster, though. Or I might not talk at all. Here it is. Hey, John, I'm moving to another state for the first time in my life. Any advice? Hire movers if you can afford it, because moving sucks. I've moved, I think, 12 times in my life at least. Just have fun with it. Just put the shit in the truck and go, man. Don't overpack. Don't try. Just get the stuff there and figure it out once you're there. But have as much help as you possibly can, because moving sucks balls, man. I swear I've herniated at least 7 discs in my lower back from moving so many times. Better Call Maul says, I love you, Johnny. Hairline. Dark Knight and The Prestige are Pulp Fiction and Django. I dedicate this nut to you, bro. Well, thanks, man. Thank you for that. The Dark Knight, The Prestige. What was the question here? You gave me too many. I have to pick one of these? I don't know. That's tough, man. So I love The Dark Knight. I love The Prestige. Django is one of my favorite Tarantino movies, but I think Pulp Fiction is the more iconic Tarantino film, but I personally enjoy rewatching Django a bit more. You know what? Just because I think cinema needs it and it's the benchmark for comic book movies, I'm going to go The Dark Knight. But then again, I could go Pulp Fiction. Oh, fuck the question. I hate it. Don't make me do what ifs. Thank God we live in a universe where I don't have to make that decision. Okay. The next one comes from Ryman6000, who says, what is the very first scene you think of when someone reminds you of M. Night's The Movie, The Happening? Hey, why don't you take an interest in science? Probably that. The 50% Doctor Who podcast, rewatch Shawshank, it's still a classic. I think Shawshank is literally a perfect movie. If you remade Shawshank and you could have a team of 70 of the world's greatest writers and have a crew of 7 of the best directors, I don't know why I'm naming all these random numbers. Anyway, you could not recreate Shawshank Redemption. You could not recreate it to be better. It wouldn't matter. It just could not be better than that original version. You know, it's like that's just one movie you could not reproduce. You just couldn't. If you took even if Shawshank, like, how could I say this? There's no way to say it. You couldn't reproduce it. I love it, man. And with all that said, my name's Morgan Freeman. Next question. Somewhere. Here it is. Claudia Roguejohn says, one more thing about Bourne. Okay, this is the last Jason fucking Bourne question I want to talk about. I don't really like the movies. I've never been a big fan. Here it goes. I watched an interview with the actor, and he showed production footage where you see them filming the fight, and the camera is nearly completely still. Paul Greengrass also told him, the less you see, the more you believe it. Well, I guess that's interesting, because if you're going to film your fight scene on a tripod with the notion in post-production to add shaky cam to it, I guess just having a steady shot gives you more creative freedom to do what you need to do. Because once you shake that camera, you're kind of stuck with what you have. So I guess that would be the reason why. But the fact that they added shaky cam to it is just disgusting to me. And the fact that he says that the less you see, the more you believe, that just goes to show me he's a director who doesn't understand great choreography, and he's afraid to film it because it'll make him look incompetent. Or at least that's my assumption. So anyway, let's go to the next one here. Ryan Potter says, I can't watch new movies. Am I depressed or evolving? Ryan, you're not alone. And I'll be completely, well, I don't need to be completely honest with you. I think you guys know this by now. Yeah, it's new movies. People always say, John, you hate everything. You hate everything. No, you're looking at a guy who loves movies. I love cinema. There's nothing better to me or more immersive in life or more cathartic than watching a movie that's great. That's all I want. That's my happy thought in life. That's what I need. But every time I go to see a modern day movie, 99% of the time, it's not what you're hoping for when it comes to that amazing cinematic experience. It's just not a movie that just resonates with you and sticks with you and you're going to think about for years and years to come. I mean, how many movies outside of maybe a couple of the last year are you going to think about in 20 years one day and then tell your kids, hey, you should really watch this classic? I mean, we just talked about The Shawshank Redemption a few questions ago. That movie in 50 years will still hold up. How many movies recently can say the same? And when I say modern day cinema is lacking, that's what I'm talking about. Movies like Iron Claw, I think that'll be a great movie in 20 years. I think that would be a cool movie. But it's just very few and far between. So no, you are evolving. And the thing is, the older you get, the more you develop your taste, the more worldly you become, and the more you can kind of figure out what works for you. And to be honest with you, I think the older most people get, the better their taste gets. Just because you're more aware. But also, for me, I hate wasting valuable time watching shitty movies. I used to be at a point in life where I could just watch a shitty movie and it was a shitty movie. But time is running out. I'm very selective and very picky with what I do with my time these days. So whenever I get 25 minutes or 35 minutes into a film and I just know it's terrible and there's nothing that this movie can do to save itself, I'm angry at the movie. And then I take out those frustrations on a little place called YouTube as I live stream it. So I hope that I answered your question, but just rest assured, you're not alone, man. You are evolving, but for the better. But what is happening in Hollywood is cinema's not evolving. It's just dwindling down into some kind of weird shell of its former self. For the most part. De-evolution. All right, let's go to the next one. Mike's Movie Talk says, what's scarier, space or the ocean? Man, I honestly think the ocean is far more terrifying than space any day of the week. Okay? Listen, if I'm up in space and something goes wrong, at least I'm not in this murky, cold thing with tentacles floating around. Right? If I'm up in the clear space, I can see the stars, it's fun to look at. But something about space, man, it's just, and this is kind of random, I guess, but slightly relates, that the submersible, the sub that went down to view the Titanic months ago, the Titan that imploded and was also operated with a fucking video game controller. All right, hey everyone, that's the Titanic here. Let me just push the Y button. Okay, you guys ready to go back to the surface? I'll hold both bumpers. Let's go. First of all, if I saw that shit, no matter how rich I was or if that trip was free, and I saw that they were using like an off-brand PS2 controller, if I'm not mistaken, as soon as I saw that shit, there's no way I'm getting in this tin can. Secondly, I was very fascinated with that story because one of my biggest fears in life is to be stuck in a very claustrophobic position, just sinking to the bottom of the ocean. That to me is, oh God, So yes, I'd much rather go into space. I don't care what happens. That's fine. I'd much rather die in space. Because the cool thing about that is, like, some fucking sperm whale isn't going to eat my body. But what will happen is, even if you die in space, you're going to float around for eternity. You're just going to be floating somewhere. And I think that's really cool. I think that's the best send-off you can have. All right. The next, how did we even get to dying in space with that? But anytime you give me a chance to talk about tentacles, I will. The next one comes from Skywalker, who says, if you had to choose one, Walmart, going back to 24/7, or the continuation of physical media? Ooh, shit. Can we all just take a moment of silence and remember the glorious golden days of humanity when you could go into Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning and buy some frozen pizza? Oh, God. We'll just never have it as good as we did. I just don't understand it. I really don't. Like, in this day and age where people have third shift jobs and it's very common that we don't have a place that you can go shopping to 24/7 just to buy the most random shit. It makes me sad. Anyway, but physical media, the fact that that's slowly dwindling, I think there's always going to be a niche outlet that produces physical media, like Arrow Video, for example. As long as there's always these niche boutique studios, I think we'll be okay with physical media. Okay? And I can live with that. So I think it's going to be around for a minute, though it won't be in many places. Best Buy got rid of it. I think there's always going to be someone creating physical media. So with all that said, I might go with 24/7 Walmart, even though I don't really use it because I've sort of succumbed to society's standards of being a normal dude who doesn't stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning anymore. But I would like to know, it comforts me knowing that I could go to Walmart right now if I wanted to buy some tube socks or something. I don't. So, all right, let's go to the next one here. Juan Dowd says, what's up, Mr. John? Keep up the great work. I know you hate Disney Plus series, me too, but are you going to watch the X-Men animated series reboot? I did not know there was an X-Men animated series reboot. That's kind of cool. I would probably give the first episode a watch. I just hope it has a very similar theme song to the original. If it doesn't, I think that's a disservice to everyone. But I'd give the first episode a watch. Yeah. And thanks for the question, Juan. Joe Nilsson says, what did you think of The Last of Us show? I thought it was a decent show to watch on a weekly basis. It was definitely something to do. I think that was, what day did that come? Tuesday, Wednesday or something? I thought it was decent. I thought there were some really stellar episodes. I even liked the Gay Bill episode on episode 2 or whatever. I thought that was actually kind of interesting. But yeah, it was hit or miss. I liked it. I thought it was good enough to go to a season 2 and kind of give me what I want. I thought the production quality was great. So I don't have a lot of major complaints with it, but I also don't have a lot of major praise that I would give it. But I did enjoy the viewing experience of it. And I would be excited for a season 2. Juan Dowd also says, where did you get that hat? I need one. I couldn't tell you where I got this. I think I got it for a gift like 7-8 years ago. I think I was wearing this shit in YouTube videos back in 2014. Actually, I know for a fact I was. And you know what? It even smells like 2014. So I guess that's why it makes me happy. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon. Just type in Batman beanie mask. I'm sure it'll pop up. Or some other weird shit might pop up. Chad Hagen says, would you rather meet John Wick or Jason Bourne? John Wick all day, man. Whoa. First of all, I'd much rather meet Keanu Reeves than Matt Damon. But just John Wick himself seems like a cooler, much more interesting guy than Jason Bourne. What was Jason Bourne's personality if you had to describe him? Matt Damon, but concerned and good at fighting and running. I don't know. All right. Skylar Wheelock says, The Rock says with his new A24 film, he's at a point where he wants to make films that matter. Sounds like Black Adam basically broke him and convinced him to return to actual acting. Maybe that movie was good for something after all. Yeah, I think after a string of failures at the box office with The Rock and making these bloated, bland CGI action movies that felt like they should have come out 15 years ago, I think simple is always better. The guy doesn't need money. Let's be The Rock. First of all, does anyone ever wonder why these actors who have hundreds of millions of dollars and 20 great films on their IMDb still make movies, and sometimes they make shitty movies? Like, do they owe someone their soul, or is there a debt that needs to be paid that we don't know about? It just baffles me that these mega millionaires still work and make shitty movies. It has always, like, do they need the accreditation? Are they addicted to being known? Like, is every great actor secretly? I mean, for the most part, I would assume they are. But are they all just narcissists who need that vanity and that accreditation? And really, it's not really about the money anymore. It's just about the exposure and being known. And is that where The Rock is? Because the guy does not need money. So maybe he just gets off of making those big action movies, and maybe he's at a point now where he says maybe it's out of his system. And I think The Rock could be kind of cool in like a cool little $10 million independent movie. I would like to see that, because I'm definitely done seeing him wear spandex. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. The guy definitely has the vascularity to pull it off, but I would like to see him in a real movie. So yeah, I think that's what he needs. I think people are over the Rock playing The Rock in a comic book movie. I know I am. So let's go to the next question. Kanye, how's it going, man? Who's been a member for at least 18 months, but I feel like it's been longer. But either way, here it goes. John, what's a movie that you must have on Blu-ray? What's a movie that you shouldn't have on Blu-ray, man? Really, I would say ask yourself that same question. What is your favorite movie? What is a film that you love? I think that's a movie that you need to own on the highest resolution you possibly can. And for me, that's how I watch my favorite movies. Now, recently, I picked up Point Break on 4K, which is probably in my top 10 movies of all time. But, you know, that's a film to me. That's a film that must be owned on a physical copy with high resolution, because I want to see it in the best possible format I can to get the best viewing experience. So really, you know, it's sort of a subject. If you want me to tell you the best looking 4K movies to buy, okay, that's an answer I could give you. But I think anything that you love, you should own on 4K if possible. All right, the next one comes from Claudia Rogajon, who says, the setup for the Beekeeper was mostly serious for the first 15 minutes, then turned into full balls to the wall action movie. He literally goes against the government. At one point, he beats up 7 full armored guards. It's ridiculous, but in a fun way. Yeah, and that sounds like a great YouTube clip I would watch. You know, and I love that over-the-top crazy bullshit in an action movie. I just want like an action movie that stands the test of time, you know? All right. By the way, I had a great idea, and maybe I've mentioned this once. And by the way, thanks to all 261 of you glorious, beautiful people for joining me at nearly 1 a.m. on a Saturday night or Sunday morning, whatever you want to call it. But I had an idea for like a real cool retro style. It would definitely have like synth music in it. But imagine a Final Fight movie where you could have this over-the-top action movie, but it sort of has this like escape from New York type vibe. You know, I just think that would be a really cool action movie. And you could even have The Rock in it if you wanted to. But it's very self-aware, but it has great dialogue, it's character-driven, and it has some of the greatest one-take action sequences you've ever seen put on the silver screen. Just imagine a side-scrolling action scene that just goes on for like 5 minutes straight. Ugh. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. That's just some movie I've always wanted to see. I've always enjoyed playing Final Fight, the video game. I want to see that come to fruition. Imagine like them picking up a trash can and finding a turkey leg underneath it to eat it to power up. I'm kidding. I wouldn't want to see that in the actual movie, but I think you could have a throwback to it where they're like in a fight in a bar or something, and the guy takes a bite of the turkey leg and just... okay, it's getting stupid at this point, but I could see Jason Statham doing that, just putting it out there. It stars The Rock and Jason Statham. Jason Statham will be the guy that wears the white t-shirt. Or you could cast Ryan Gosling if he's down for it. But listen, Netflix, all I need is $93 million and I can make this movie. Okay, the next question comes from Panic Nation, who says, "Hey John, sit down with some edibles and watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas sometime. Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro are hilarious in it." I've seen the movie. I know it's trippy as shit. You kind of want to be on acid for something like that. But what my recommendation is, if you want to get on the edge of your seat, take an edible and then watch a survival/thriller film. I get so much more empathetic nowadays than I used to. And watching like survival movies like The Impossible starring little Tom Holland, man, that movie was phenomenal to me. I really enjoyed that. So that's what I've been doing nowadays late at night. But no, you're completely right. I could see that being a good time. Did I just say that really weird? Billy M says, "Judgment Free Zone. We're going to swerve the censors here. During your Bane era, were you organic or possibly orange juicing? No wrong answer, Johnny." Dude, I don't think you understand. It didn't... For me to look vascular and veiny, like a raw nerve or a pulsating erection, it took like 2 years, man. I didn't need the juice, I'm telling you. Like, I weighed 105 pounds. And I wasn't even that heavy, and I was working out for 2 hours every day, or at least in the gym about 2 hours every day. I knew what body parts to hit and how to look bigger than I actually was. And plus at that time I was probably eating, like there were some days where I'd eat like 5,000, 6,000 calories just to put on size because I'm naturally a skinny dude. So no, and just recently I started going back to the gym again, and I've already put on like 4 pounds of muscle in the course of like going to the gym twice a week for the last month or two. So I think muscle memory is a real thing, but no, don't get me wrong. I was taking all kinds of crazy Chinese supplements that were recommended to me. Now, were they legal? I don't know. I bought them from some guy. I'm just putting it out there. But it was some good creatine. I'll just say that. Was it laced with something? Couldn't tell you. Did it make my heart palpitate? Maybe slightly. All right. The next question comes from... where are we? Badass American Eagle says, "Thoughts on the best film ever, Passion of the Christ." I've only seen it once, but man, they beat the shit out of that guy. Great movie. Great movie. Thanks, Mel Gibson. Will H says, "John, I saw 2001 A Space Odyssey for the first time at cinemas last night. It was a full audience and not one person made a peep. It was very magical and mystical experience, to say the least." Well, yeah, whenever you have someone paying money to come see 2001 A Space Odyssey, a film from the 1960s, they're going to be a very mature audience, or at least socially mature audience that can enjoy film. So that's great, man. I'm glad you got to see it on the big screen for the first time. It would have been really cool if they presented that in IMAX. That'd be a really cool way to experience it. But yeah, if you've never seen the movie, what did you think about the 15-minute long space docking scene? Huh? Good stuff. Josh says, "John, I was watching Wayne's World tonight." Well, shawing! That's good stuff. Wayne's World, in many ways, was sort of like motivation for me doing YouTube. It was It was a dude talking about things that he was passionate about in his parents' basement and putting it on public access. And I just put the shit on YouTube. But I still lived in my parents' basement when I started this channel. And damn, do I miss it. All right, the next one comes from Samuel Dixon, who says, 30 Days of Night is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. It's just so eerie. What do you say? Yeah, I liked the movie. Josh Arnett, before he disappeared from Hollywood, I thought it was kind of cool. It wasn't a huge budget movie. I thought it was a cool movie with a nice concept and a cool backdrop that made sense. But I have not seen it since probably like the first year it hit DVD. So the next one comes from Ryan Potter, who says, do you think if evil people ruled the world, they would stop production of good movies because they empower the people? Oh, yeah, you got to suppress. If you want to rule, you got to suppress. Yeah, probably. They would just make like G-rated movies. You know what you would get in a society like that? You would get nothing but the Teletubbies. That's what you would get. They would just dumb us down and make us mindless drones who just go work in a manufacturing plant, putting things together, and then we go home and we sit there and watch Teletubbies, drooling, eating our TV dinners. That's what we would do. Did I answer your question? And with all that said, it's Teletubby bye-bye time. The next one comes from Rafa Zepian, who says, what do you think about afterwards? Do you think they are important within the film industry, or do they mean nothing? Oh, I'm sorry. I completely read that wrong. What do you think about awards? Yeah, I don't watch award shows. I only keep up with them what I read on like Twitter or Facebook or social media. That's where I keep up with them. You know, sometimes I might pay attention to the best picture of the year, but I just do not care. I really don't. When you understand the voting process for how these things work, you know, I'm on a few committees for these things. You know, I'm approved on Rotten Tomato. I'm on another network for critics, and they just send out these ballots, and I feel like the majority of the people voting have probably not seen all these movies, and you're just taking a group of a few people, and then now you're handing millionaires a gold statue on a stage. Good job. Good. I mean, I get that award ceremonies should exist. I just think I just don't care. I just don't. And I've really never cared, but I can't even pretend to care anymore because I just don't. You know, if a great movie gets Best Picture of the Year, I'm all for it, but it doesn't affect my opinion on anything either way. The next one comes from Night King 01, who says, okay, I saw The Beekeeper, and I can say I was entertained. There's a scene in this where the main henchman's crew show up, and they are the most David Ayer crew ever. Oh, do they all have like neck tattoos and nose piercings, or if I are in like leather jackets? Anyway, also the main henchman looks like a visual effect. He's like perfectly sculpted human. No, you just described Zac Efron. That's all you did. Tom Holland says top 3 Robin Williams performances. Ooh, that's a great question, man. So if I had to pick, I got to put Hook in there. I'm putting Hook in there. I could almost put Mrs. Doubtfire in there. I'm just kidding. You know what? When it comes to Robin Williams' best performances, that's a tough question because there's performances that he gives that have a lot of range and emotion in there, but they're not necessarily the Robin Williams performance I want to see all the time. So I'm going to go with Good Will Hunting. I think that's definitely one of his best performances. And he also, if you care about awards, he won Best Supporting Actor that year, I believe. I mean, Good Morning Vietnam. I mean, Robin Williams has made some really good movies. Even 1 Hour Photo is an eerie ass performance. But for me, my top three Robin Williams performances, I kind of like Hook. I like I like Mrs. Doubtfire, and maybe I could go with, what's another Robin Williams movie I could go with? I don't know. I'd have to go look at his filmography to really pick one. I mean, there's What Dreams May Come. There's the movie, what was it, Toys, which I saw that in theaters. I think that's one of his worst movies he's ever made. But yeah, I'm going to go with Hook and Mrs. Doubtfire. As far as the third Robin Williams performance to throw on there, that's my favorite, or one I enjoy watching over and over again. I don't know. I will tell you this. I watched Jack again recently, like a couple months ago, and I've always liked the movie, but watching it again, it really lost a lot, and I realized it's not that good of a movie. It's really not that good of a movie. Plus, watching Bill Cosby, I don't know, just kind of put me off a little bit. Yeah, Aladdin, great voice acting from Robin Williams. Mr. Mufasa, sir. Bicentennial Man. Dude, I have a guilty pleasure love for Bicentennial Man. You know what? I might even put that in there. Hello, little miss. If you haven't seen Bicentennial Man, go watch it. I love movies that span various decades into the future. It's kind of sad and depressing in a weird way because you realize your own immortality and or at least your own mortality, and time will go on and things change no matter what. I've always liked movies that do that for some odd reason. Just gives you a lot of perspective. Anyway, I like Bicentennial Man. Go watch it if you've never seen it. And many people have never seen that shit. It's a little weird at first, but I highly recommend it. Yeah, Dead Poets Society. Damn it. Okay, that's definitely in the top three for actual dramatic performances from Robin Williams. All right. The next one comes from Claudia Rogajon, who says, I remember you saying in the past that you would stay up for 3 days straight watching movies. Was this true? Because if that's the case, you were superhuman. And what's the secret doing that? What's the secret doing that? No, I didn't technically stay up for 72 hours watching cinema. No, I did not. I could stay up easily for a day, and then I could maybe possibly get my second wind just in time to have another 6 hours in me before I would collapse. So no, I didn't really stay up for 72 hours. Don't take everything I say 100% literal. Please don't ever do that. Okay? There's a lot of nuance going on here. You got to pick and pull what works where. All right? No, never that long. Skylar Wheelock says, are there any two actors currently working who have never worked together whose pairing would be as anticipated as De Niro and Pacino in Heat? Hoo-ha, motherfucker. So when I see you, I was going to try to do a De Niro impression, but I can't. Anyway, it sounded like Owen Wilson for a second. Give me unhinged Jake Gyllenhaal, wacky Ryan Gosling in an action comedy. You know, I think I've actually said that once before, and yes, there you go. There's my final fight movie. My live action final fight movies, Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Gosling. Sold. Done. Take it. I want it now. Yeah, I'd like to see them together in a movie. Absolutely. But someone's going to have to really chew up the scenery, and I think it's going to have to be Gyllenhaal, because Ryan Gosling, he always does this little weird, subdued, understated thing no matter what. And I think Gyllenhaal could be the louder, screamy guy. Yeah, okay. I'll dig that. Okay. Go to the next question. Alejandro says, oh, no, we're going to get there. Okay, here, we'll just get there now. Alejandro says, did you end up watching Rebel Moon? I watched most of it, and then I started skipping chapters of the movie or scenes, and I knew within the first 14 minutes of that piece of trash that it just wasn't going to be worth the time to watch it. I'm not bored enough to watch something like that. Like, if I'm that bored, I will go out my garage and organize my tools. So no, I didn't watch technically all of it, but I saw most of it. I saw what I needed to see. And it was an abomination against humanity. The next one comes from Ryan Potter once again. John, been secretly watching videos of an Indian yogi called Seda Sai Baba materializing sacred ash out of his hand, but in the 90s video, the Sathya... What the fuck am I saying right now? I don't know what the question was. I could only pronounce 14% of it. But he performs what? For 4 minutes. Okay. Can you send me a link to what you're talking about? Well, that's interesting. Huh. I've been watching videos on YouTube where people go thrifting at Goodwill and sell the items on eBay, and I highly enjoy it for some odd reason. That's the shit I watch nowadays. Anyway, Mike's Movie Talk says, thoughts on Dazed and Confused? Oh, absolutely. Loved it, man. One of the best coming of age films ever made. One of the best throwback 1970s. It's what I would consider one of the best hangout movies ever made. Like, when it comes to hangout movies, you have Dazed and Confused, you have Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you have movies like Stand By Me, just to name a few. But yeah, Dazed and Confused, I could probably put my top 50 movies of all time. And that's one 4K movie I need to get. The next one comes from Night King 01, who says, I love places like Arrow Video and Shout Factory. Those are the best places to get physical media now, and Criterion. Also, what other places are you going to get Dark Angel with Dolph Lundgren and The Haunted with Christopher Lambert fighting ninjas? Absolutely, man. Well, I'll give it, Arrow Video, some of their releases with like the cover art and the booklets and the posters and everything that it comes with, I think are phenomenal. There's a few movies I needed. I didn't Arrow Video put out, they put out a 4K of something I needed to buy, and I completely forgot what it was. It was like one of my favorite movies that hit 4K. It's definitely an older movie. But anyway, yeah, their releases justify buying physical media because it's actually like this all-inclusive package of like booklets, and they put time and effort into it, so... But you're right, yeah. Ryan Potter says, I have anti-vertigo. When I'm not high, I'm frightened. Well, you're probably paranoid. Night King 01 says, hey, John, since you were talking about films that stand the test of time because they are iconic, does Commando fit into that category? It's so dated that it holds up surprisingly. Like, that movie would never work now because everyone has phones. Well, you know what the weird thing about most movies are, and the reason that I think secretly great storytelling can never be reproduced in a modern day setting, is because cell phones and the advent of technology now ruin great storytelling. Like, Home Alone would not exist in modern day. There's just too many ways he could get in touch with his parents. You know what Home Alone would be? Hey, Kevin, we accidentally left you at home. We'll take a flight back in 2 days. Can you call your grandma to come over and watch you? Oh, you can? Oh, you already did because you have a smartphone? Okay. Oh, actually, hey, we could FaceTime. Oh, okay, we'll be home in 2 days. Don't do anything crazy. And if someone tries to break in and kill you, Kevin, just call the cops because now you can do that with your phone. And okay. So anyway, yeah, you're right. So yeah, the inclusion of phones ruin all narrative in a story with any suspense. Because the great thing about movies, people used to have to go meet with someone face to face to have like a certain conversation, and now you can just FaceTime that shit. So you gotta if I ever wrote a movie, you would have to make it set back in like the early 2000s or the 1990s. It just couldn't be a modern day movie unless it revolved around technology to some degree. Anyway, let's go to the next question here. The next one is, I am reading the normal chat here. And by the way, if you guys are members, please chime in on the normal chat over here. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Oh, we got one here from Bruce Cook. John, in your opinion, what are some movie remakes that never should have been made? My candidate, the remake of Poltergeist. I never watched the remake of Poltergeist. I just couldn't, I wouldn't do that. Let me think of some remakes that should have never been made. I don't know. Just a little movie called Point Break. Got one of the worst generic, bland Netflix style remakes that you could ever create or shit out of Hollywood. That's definitely my choice for remakes that didn't need. But there's also so many great remakes. I think sometimes you can pick an older movie and maybe update it to some degree, or at least go a new direction with it. But yeah, mine would be Point Break right now off the top of my head. All right, the next one comes from Oh, by the way, yes, Commando, I feel like, is so dated in the 80s that it works. In a weird way, it is timeless. Night King 01 says, that's why I like saying Back to the Future. Even though it's so fucking 80s, that's why it's now timeless to me. It feels like this surreal alternate universe. And I like that. Night King 01 says, that's why I like people like Michael Imperioli, am I saying that right? Who played Christopher on The Sopranos. Once he got it, he ended up throwing it in the trash. Oh, he ended up just giving up his acting career? Well, I don't think anyone wanted to cast him, man, because he kind of aged into like a weird looking adult. And that happens a lot with child actors. Like, they look cute when they're kids, and then they become adults, and they kind of look a little bit like that little kid still, but in a weird way. Like, they don't look young enough to play a child, but they don't look grown enough to play an adult. So they're in this constant weird transitional phase that they don't go one direction or the other. Am I rambling right now? But what I'm referring to is Haley Joel Osment, Jake Lloyd, and name anyone else. You know, they just aged to look kind of weird. Am I the only one who thinks that? Please tell me I'm not alone. There's 265 of you. I want a response. All right, the next one comes from, I just woke up with a lot of P's in there. What's your go-to childhood movie? Mine is Angels in the Outfield. That's good shit, man. I'd pick Mighty Ducks over Angels in the Outfield if you wanted. Oh, actually, what am I doing? The Sandlot. Just for the sake of narrowing it down a little bit, if you told me to pick like a childhood sports movie, since you picked Angels in the Outfield, which I like me some Tony Danza, don't get me wrong, I would definitely go with The Sandlot. But if you want like my legitimate answer to that, I loved Home Alone. I loved the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I loved 89 Batman growing up. Like, those are the type of like movies I watched as a kid over and over that kind of took me to a happy place. 3C Films, how's it going, man? And thank you for the very generous super chat there. All right. If you can afford Funko Pops, you can afford more than $4.99. I sound like an ungrateful asshole. But let me answer your question, Chris. Miss you, buddy. Just wanted to let you know I'm watching you while I shower. I prefer that you watch me when you're taking a shit, because I like to think I'm helping you with that sweet release. But thanks for that, man. Thank you for that. I washed all my major body parts, including the crevices. Right. Well, thanks, Chris. Wash your ass for me, mister. All right. The next one comes from Night King 01, who says, John, did you ever end up watching The Driver? So I found it on 4K from the UK, but a PS5 remedies region log. So if you have that, it's all good. I need your thoughts since you love Drive so much. I'll get around to watching it one day, man. I have an Xbox Series X. That's what I have. Is it region free? Does it play region free Blu-rays or anything? But it's a 4K, you said? I don't know. I'll just have my friend illegally download it for me, and I'll watch it on a zip drive or something. The next one comes from Night King of One again. Meant to say Michael Imperioli threw his Emmy away. Oh, he threw his Emmy away. Okay, I thought you meant his acting career. Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, Warriors 4K, do you think it's worth buying, Johnny? That's one. Do I own that? Do I own that on 4K? Yes, I do. I feel like I have a steelbook of that. I don't know. I don't think I've watched it to tell you what the picture quality looks like. I have so many movies back there stacked up. I've been overloaded with life. And, okay, here's another thing. By the way, hey, Jim Fox, T2 John Connor, promise me you're not going to kill anyone. How's it going, Jim? Bruce Cook back again. John, you forgot Edward Furlong is your child to adult degeneration. Yeah, you're right. That's another one. He just aged kind of weird. But yeah, you're right. I'm telling you, there's a phenomenon going on where what happens in Hollywood, and hear me out, this is the most crazy conspiracy you're ever going to hear, at least today. I have a theory that Hollywood, when they cast a child to play in a major role that may or may not have sequels, they inject them with some kind of suppressant hormone that doesn't allow them to age as quickly as they should or naturally progress. I'm just putting it out there. Look at a lot of child stars who have starred in sitcoms, for example. They just kind of age a little bit weird. Like their face still looks like they're 12 years old, but their body is kind of like a little bit bigger, but it just doesn't make any sense. I'm telling you. They all age weird. Okay, the next one comes from Will H, who says, John, I'm behind on TV shows and have 3 juggernauts to watch still. Game of Thrones, Better Call Saul, The Sopranos. Which of these 3 should I watch? Okay, listen, if you want a cinematic, pure escape with some great writing until season 8, up until then, it's a pretty damn spectacular show where you care about the characters and every episode feels like its own little mini epic movie. Game of Thrones is my recommendation. Now, with all that said, after that, let's go with, it depends. I don't know your personality. But if you like a little bit more, I guess, ease ability in your watching experience, I think you could almost, I think the masses could probably, I think Sopranos is the better show, but Better Call Saul might be better suited for you. Maybe. I'm just throwing it out there. There's more levity in it. But The Sopranos is by far a superior show. But yeah, I'd go with Game of Thrones first. That's what I would. I just rewatched every season over the last 2 months. It was my go to bed show. So maybe I'm biased. Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says Warriors 4K is worth getting. How did you like it? Did I already answer that? Maybe I did. I think I have it. I just haven't watched it on 4K. I don't know what the picture quality looks like. Skylar Wheelock says, thoughts on Ted series. The guy playing young Mark Wahlberg looks weird, like he's on the spectrum of sorts. I don't know. I'm probably not going to watch it. I didn't think Ted was that great of a movie. I don't think it'll be that great of a series. I don't care. I don't know. I'd rather have another season of Freaks and Geeks or something rather than a Ted series. Who's going to watch that? I don't know. I'd rather just watch reruns of Family Guy and call it a day. It's set in the early 1990s, no cell phones, high school shenanigans, and there's a reference to T2 in Jurassic Park. Okay, well, you sold me just slightly. But I don't know if that's worth watching. I don't know. Doyle Status says, Star Trek 2009 is great, just watched it. I like Star Trek 2009. I like it. When people crap on that, I'm like, no, that's a great action film. It's well crafted. The acting is great. The story's good enough. I think Star Trek 2009 is phenomenal. I love the way that the movie looks and the scope of it. I was never huge into Star Trek, but I like Star Trek 2009. You know, it's just a fun space epic adventure. So yeah, I'm with you on Star Trek 2009, man. Samuel Dixon says, One Night in Paris was my favorite childhood film. Really? That's interesting. Mine, you know what's weird about my childhood is I actually, in like the mid 90s, me and my sister and me used to like to watch Silence of the Lambs. Like we were always just drawn to it. Does that explain a lot about me and maybe what's wrong? Yes. Do I need therapy? I don't know. But that's what I consider this right now. All right. Night King 01 says, speaking about the crew of the Beekeeper, yes, John, they are David Ayer's wet dream. One guy looks like a SoundCloud rapper. All of them have neck tattoos. See, my assumptions were right. Cowboy hats, designer brand neon jackets, weird Hot Topic outfits. Jason Statham beating them up was fun. So it looks like he was just beating up guys going to an EDM concert. Okay, got it. John, what are the worst TV channels? I don't know, probably the Hallmark Channel and TZM. I don't know. What's the country music? I don't know what I'm saying. It's late. I don't watch cable anymore, so I don't know what the... Oh, you meant YouTube channels? No, you said TV. So if you said the worst YouTube channels, well, we could have had a discussion about that. I don't know. Who watches CBS? Like, who the fuck's watching that? What do you watch on CBS? All right. By the way, guys, I want to let you guys know something. I have a huge stack of movies down here. I think all of them are probably brand new. Maybe not all of them, but most of them are new. And I do not need these movies. I do not want these movies. And I was going to give some of them away. And then I was going to sell the rest of them. I was going to make a video about it. Maybe I'd take them to Mega Replay and sell them. But it's kind of not worth it. So if anyone's interested in buying some 4K movies or Blu-ray movies or steelbook sets of Resident Evil, I have these. I can ship them to you. I can include a FlickPick sticker or something if you want. And I will sell them to you cheaper than probably eBay would. And also the more you buy, the better deal I can give you. So if you guys want me to go through like 50 movies sitting beside me right now, and if you are interested in buying any of them, you can send me an email to the email down below at pickflickinger@gmail.com. And if you want to just type in the movies that you want and throw me an offer and tell me what city you live in, we can make magic happen or make a deal. And please live in the United States. If you live overseas, I'm way too fucking lazy to ship these overseas and go to the post office and fill out the form to ship you a $10 movie. I cannot and will not do it. But if you live in the continental U.S., we can work a deal out. But let me know if you want me to go through these. If you're interested, let me know. It might take a few minutes. If not, that's okay too. But I will await your answers to this question. Meanwhile, I'll read a question here by Bruce Cook. John, apparently Sir Patrick Stewart has expressed interest in a Star Trek Picard movie. At 83, don't think he's too old to make the movie effective. I don't know. I think to some degree he could play the character, right? It doesn't have to. It's not like he has to be the main lead central action star of the show, but as long as he's there doing something, I'd be okay with that. By the way, One Night in Paris, I much preferred One Night in China. Anyway, let's go to the next one here. Do it now. Go through them, John. I'm interested. Okay, you want me to go through all these movies? All right. Hang on. All right. Let me answer just a few more super chat questions, and then I will go through. Hang on. Here's what you're gonna get if you stick around. Are you ready? We're gonna go through all this shit right here. Okay. So don't you go anywhere. All right. So a few quick super chats, and we'll dive into this stack of movies. Doyle Status says, I think Terminator Salvation is hated unfairly. Loved the different new robots we fight, plus Bale as a kick-ass Connor. Wish we got a sequel to it. This is John Connor. If you're hearing this, you are the resistance. Don't stop fighting. The machines are weak. Yeah, I have a guilty pleasure love for Terminator Salvation. I think like 50% of the movie does what it should have. I think John Connor by Christian Bale was a phenomenal performance. I was glad that we finally went into the future. We're not just rehashing the past anymore. But it got a lot of things wrong, and I think casting Sam Worthington was sort of the Achilles heel of that movie. I wish they would have cast someone else. But I like Terminator Salvation. I do. I think it could have instantly been better, but the one thing I will say about it is it has a damn good teaser trailer. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you get bored, go to YouTube and type in the original teaser trailer for Terminator Salvation. Make sure it's like the teaser trailer. And it has the song going da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And it sounds staticky. It's kind of cool. I liked it. All right. Night King 01 says, I meant to say Michael Imparelli threw his Emmy away. Also, you missed my previous message. I think I got your previous message in there, man. Sopranos. I think I got it. I see all your questions. I think I answered them. Can you just retype it in the normal chat if you think I missed it? I'll try to catch it. Will H says, Breaking Bad being the best series I've ever seen. I want to start up Better Call Saul first, but my brother gives me shit for Game of Thrones and says, what you said aside from season 8, also Sopranos just feels right, damn it. Well, no. If you're going to watch Breaking Bad, go watch Breaking Bad first before Better Call Saul. Even though Better Call Saul takes place before Breaking Bad, it was filmed afterwards, and it's a prequel. So you have to watch Breaking Bad before Better Call Saul, because Breaking Bad will make you appreciate Better Call Saul that much more. So you got to start with Breaking Bad, man. I definitely recommend Breaking Bad. That's good stuff. All right, I'm going to go through this stack of movies. So as I go through this, if there's something you're interested in, just type it down and send me an email to the email in the description box below this video, okay? Just type in all the movies you want, what city you live in, and what list of movies you want, and throw me an offer that you think's fair. Don't get cheap on me. All right. Holy shit. Okay, we got a lot of movies. All right. So this is out of the plastic, but it's basically new. It's Bullet Train. Now, I'm not going to give you my review on all these movies or justify why I'm selling them, but this, I visually liked the way it looked. I would just never watch it again. That's Bullet Train on 4K. Then I have all the Expendables movies, Steelbook, brand new 4K in the plastic. Smells sexy, smells sweet. But the truth is, I have all of these movies already, and I don't need the 4K Steelbooks. So, all the Expendables movies. Then I have 1923 Season 1. I tried to watch the first 2 episodes of Yellowstone, and I just don't give a shit about their land. I don't care about their cattle. I don't care about rich people. I got cattle. I'm rich. I can move anywhere I want, but I like this land. I just don't care. So anyway, that's brand new. That's a Blu-ray. Then I have Megan here. This is the Blu-ray. I didn't hate watching this movie, but this is the type of movie that I would just watch on Netflix. I don't need the physical copy of this. And also, side note, when it comes to comes to physical media, I love physical media, but I am out of space back there, and I am very selective on what movies I put on my shelves nowadays. So I gotta love a movie to keep it. I'm not just gonna keep shit to keep it. All right. This is the Blu-ray here. Knock on the Cabin. This is brand new. I thought this was okay. I hated the ending, and if you read the book that this is based on, has a much bleaker ending. So, and then we have season 5 of Yellowstone. I'll probably never watch that. Season 1 of Tulsa King. I watched the first few episodes. I thought it was okay, but kind of forgettable. That's brand new in the plastic. Speaking of Picard, we got Star Trek: The Next Generation 4 movie collection. I already own like all the Star Trek movies. I don't need this. This is brand new. Is this a 4K? Yeah, this is a Blu-ray. Then we have Equalizer. Oh, this is the Equalizer 3 movie collection. I liked the first Equalizer. It was okay. I did not care to watch the second one, and I probably will never watch the third one, but this is the 4K of all 3 movies. We got Cobra Kai on DVD. I'd probably just watch it on Netflix if I was in the mood, and I probably wouldn't watch it on DVD. Then I have Devotion on 4K. I don't think anyone's going to want this. Oh, Jonathan Majors. All right. I have Empire of Light. That's weird. That was my studio lights just instantly got brighter as soon as I said light. That's scary. Okay, that's scary, man. Let me turn this light down real quick. But that was... hang on. That's creepy shit, right? That's not normal, right? Okay. There's ghosts in here. I'm being haunted. Mommy, I'm in the light bulb. Help me. Okay. So anyway, Empire of the Light. I'm not crazy. I'm almost wondering, is my light have like a audio sensor where I can say light and it gets brighter? Did I never know about this? I'll test that theory another time. Anyway, where am I? Oh, I have the Jackie Chan movie collection, volume 2. I actually have 2 copies of this. So I have this. It has like 20 movies in it or something like that. So that's the Blu-ray. Oh, gosh. Then I have Transformers Rise of the Beast on 4K. Was this better than maybe the last Transformers movie? Sure. But it was so underwhelming. Okay, what else do we have? Oh, okay. Here's where it gets into the big stuff here. All right. I have Resident Evil 6 movie collection 4K Steelbook. Look at all those Steelbooks in there. Brand new in the plastic, man. Brand new. Ready to go. So. Oh, you guys are going to like this. Star Trek, the Picard Legacy Collection. We've been talking about Picard a lot lately. Well, check this shit out. Look at that. Brand new. Sealed in the plastic. All right. I'm just not a big Star Trek fan. I know. All right. We got a few more left here. Insidious, The Red Door. It ends where it all began. I thought this was a terrible movie. This is on Blu-ray. We have Scrooge on 4K, brand new. I never liked Scrooge. I'm kind of a Christmas Carol. I'm over the story of that. I hate rewatching it in any form or any remake. I just don't care. And it's not one of my favorite Bill Murray movies by any means. I have Sisu on Blu-ray. I did watch this on streaming, but it's just a movie I'd probably never watch again. I'm gonna have one giveaway at the end of this. Don't worry. I'm gonna give you guys some free shit. Don't worry. Then we have Scream. I have not been a fan of any of the Scream movies beyond the first two. So yeah, we have Scream on DVD. Or no, I'm stupid. This is on Blu-ray. It's brand new though. Then we have South Park season 21 through 25. I don't think I would ever physically pop in the Blu-ray of South Park to watch it. I would just watch it on some streaming service at 3 o'clock in the morning as I ate Kraft macaroni and cheese drinking a Mountain Dew. But this is brand new in the plastic. Oh, No Hard Feelings. I liked this movie. I did enjoy it, but I don't need to own this on my shelf. I did enjoy it. I thought it was nice to see a crude rated R comedy movie that just went for it. And Jennifer Lawrence, one of my favorite actresses, actually, I would say. She doesn't seem uptight. I have season 1 of The Tulsa King. Oh, Cocaine Bear. I expected so much more from this movie. And then what we got was a movie that could have been concluded in 12 minutes, but they drag it out with all these stupid subplots for an hour and a half. I would never watch it again. Then we have 45 here on 4K. This is brand new as well. I did see this movie, and I thought the premise and the plot to this, before this movie ever came out, would be amazing. It just sounds like a movie made for me. A sci-fi movie in the future, and it has dinosaurs in it? Fuck yes. And then they took all those great ideas and kind of did nothing with them. And it's called 65. All right. A Man Called Otto. I would never watch that again. Gran Turismo. Brand new in the plastic. Now, I did watch this on Netflix a couple weeks ago. And when it comes to video game movie adaptations, technically speaking, I thought it was okay. It was sort of the most cliche movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, David Harbour in this film, every time he opens his mouth, he's just giving a motivational speech. Hey kid, I know you get knocked down, but it ain't about getting knocked down. It's about how many times you eat it. He just gives us a motivational speech. That is his personality. Motivational speech guy. I thought it was an okay one watch, but I would never take this off the shelf to watch it. But it's brand new. It's a Blu-ray. Let's see. Then I have The Blue Beetle. I watched 28 minutes of this movie and realized, oh, yeah, it's exactly what I thought it would be. And then I turned it off, and then I went outside. So this is brand new 4K. Maybe I'll keep that one. Okay. Oh, then I have Dumb Money. This is brand new in the plastic. I did watch Dumb Money. I liked it. I quite enjoyed it, actually. I love movies sort of about financial crimes and shady stuff going on in Wall Street. I like movies about white-collar crime. Put it that way. And technically, this doesn't have a lot of that, but I like movies about the stock market. It's weird, I know. And I like Paul Dano in this, and I like when he live streams to his audience. Kind of reminds me of something. But I would probably never watch this on Blu-ray again. Not to say I wouldn't watch it on Netflix in 5 years or something. And then, last but certainly not least, this is brand new. It's Top Gun Maverick on Blu-ray. It even smells like Tom Cruise, and I will give this away tonight. So I'll tell you what. How can I do this? How can I give this away? What's the best way I can give this away? Let me think. I'll think on a good question to ask you guys, and whoever responds to it first will win Top Gun Maverick on Blu-ray, and I'll send it to you. You just have to email me. But let me think here. I'll come up with some kind of question. All right. So let's answer. And by the way, if you guys are interested in any of those movies, just send me an email to the email address down below at pickflickinger@gmail.com. Okay. The next question comes from Night King 01, who says, John, every time we fail, when you try to do the Terminator theme, you always do it wrong. I do it close enough. Maybe I'm tone deaf. I don't know. Gilliam LaBelle says, Echo was pretty disappointing, not TV MA material. Did it come out on Disney Plus? Disney Plus stands for, well, I guess it stands for Disney Plus, but I just think of disappointment when I think of Disney Plus. It's Disney plus disappointment. Will H says, John, I've seen Breaking Bad 3 times. Laugh out loud, El Camino as well. Just haven't seen Better Call Saul yet. Well, how was I supposed to know you haven't seen Breaking Bad yet? Okay. Yes. So then, okay. You got it, man. Just watch Game of Thrones, though. But thank you for that. Thank you for clarifying that. Claudia Rogujon says, I recently watched the show Longmire and it was pretty damn good. I love neo-westerns and it's a great show with Clint Eastwood type main character who kicks a lot of ass. Ooh, a strong protagonist who's strong and silent. Okay. What's it called? Longmire? I'll look into it. I just woke up says, the Pauly Shore Richard Simmons shit's weird, right? Yeah, it's pretty fucking weird, man. The fact that Pauly Shore literally aged into what Richard Simmons was is kind of phenomenal in itself. But I'm kind of excited to see it. I just know it's going to be like some really cheap biopic released on like Hulu or something. It'll probably have vibes of the Weird Al Yankovic movie. Like I can see it kind of being in that same tone. Or at least I hope it is. John, you need to get the clapper. Well, I do have Alexa, but not hooked up to my light. Gilliam LaBelle says, Scream 6 was fun, but too much plot armor. Yeah, you know, when it comes to the Scream movies, I can't, I'm all for suspending disbelief, but when it gets to the point where it's so convoluted that the third cousin's brother who stubbed his toe one day and knew one person is now the killer and they dedicated 8 years to their life and they bought a mansion that was hidden under a subway system in New York to buying or to accumulating all these crime scene things and putting them into glass cases, all for one character to eventually come to this location and stand there for 10 minutes so they can kill her there. To me, once it gets to that point, I just can't do it anymore. I'm like, this is stupid. When it comes to Scream, can we maybe just go somewhere else with a different set of characters and maybe, just maybe, we have a new serial killer on the loose who was motivated by TV and movies to do this and video games? But it's a new set of killers this time. I'm just putting it out. Maybe they could try that. Like, I don't want any connection to what we have now. Just go somewhere else with it. Or at least try it. I don't know. Could be good. Gran Turismo was probably one of my biggest surprises of the year. Thought it was going to suck. Yeah, I thought it was an okay movie. It just was the most cliched movie ever made. Night King 01 says, I was going to say earlier I found The Driver on 4K UK. I need your thoughts since you love Drive so much. Yeah, we answered that earlier, man. I talked about that earlier. I'll watch Driver one day. I probably won't buy it on 4K though. Mark Wallace says, sorry to interrupt your stream, but my mom said you haven't sent this month's child support. I love you, Dad. Well, I don't love you. And you're not getting that shit. But I hope your mother's doing well. Blue Beetle was generic as hell. Yeah, it is. It really was. Blue Beetle felt like a superhero movie from 1997. It reminded me of that movie with the kid who played Tim in Jurassic Park, Star Kid. That bullshit that came out in like 1998. That's what Blue Beetle reminded me of. Except I feel like Star Kid had a better story. Okay, guys, I'm just going to answer a few more questions, and I'm going to wrap up this live show because I am getting tired and I need to go eat some reheated tacos. So here it goes, man. Claudia Rojan says, Longmire is on Netflix if you're ever going to give it a shot. Fun fact, the main actor who plays Walt Longmire played one of the agents in the first Matrix. The other one dodges Neo's bullets on the roof. I wish he was in more things. Okay, good to know. Longmire on Netflix. I'll look into it, man. All right. Let's see if there's any new questions popping up. Give it a few seconds here. This is almost a 2-hour live show. I was only going to do, I was going to do this for like an hour. But you guys are just too good to me. All right, guys. So I think I'm going to wrap up the live show. I think I'm going to wrap up the live show here. But I do want to say thanks for hanging out, guys, for a couple of hours on a Saturday/Sunday morning. It's just fun. I like talking movies with you guys. This is my favorite thing to do on YouTube these days. It's really the only thing I'm doing on YouTube these days, but you know what? I think this will never end. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for the questions. Thanks for just looking at my stupid face for a couple of hours. We'll do another one of these live shows, possibly like mid to later this week, like Wednesday, Thursday, maybe. And then until then, guys, stay safe. Have a good night. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I'm going to go eat these tacos. You guys always pull this. We got 2 questions here. I'm gonna answer them very quickly. Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, how did you like -1? What's your grade, Johnny? -1. I did not see -1 yet. I know. It's great. I've heard it. It's a great kaiju movie. I have not been in the mood to watch a Godzilla movie. No matter how good it is, I just have not been in the movie to watch a Godzilla movie. I'm kind of waiting till it hits streaming so I can just watch it at home. I'm sorry. I'll punish myself. And Ahmed Asim says, true fan here from Egypt. Love you, man. Well, thanks, Ahmed. Thanks, man. You know, Egypt's one place on my bucket list I want to go to. I just think seeing the Great Pyramids would just be mind-blowing. But thanks, man. That's fucking crazy. People from Egypt are watching this right now. I love it, man. Thanks. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Stay safe. Bye.